This is what's great about sports. This is what the greatest thing about sports is. You play to win the game. Hello? You play to win the game.
Winning isn't everything, but it's the only thing. In our business, there is no second place. Either you're first or you're last.
Ain't this what they've been waiting for? You ready?
And now, the W with Walls and the crew.
Good morning.
Where winning isn't everything, it's the only thing. On 100.1 FM.
Good morning.
And Facebook Live.
Good morning. Right back like we never left. Another Saturday morning with the W Show, Kansas City, talking sports and pop culture. You're listening to the W Show on 100.1 FM, One Kansas City Radio. If you're watching us live on one of our social media pages, we appreciate it. And if this is your first time checking us out, thank you again for making us a part of your day. My name is Steve Walls, and as always, I'm joined by one of the other hosts of the show, Noel. Good morning, man. How are you?
Pretty good, man. How you doing?
I'm kind of so this morning, just getting through it, man. I know before we start today's show, I'd be remiss if we didn't start off by sending our prayers and condolences to DJ Q and the Randall family on the loss of his mom, Miss Randall, Mama Randall, what we called her on the show. She will most definitely be missed. So our thoughts and prayers definitely go out to DJ Q and his family.
Yeah, it's definitely been a long week for everybody involved. Everybody who knows Q knows his mom was a big part of our lives. So it's just really sad. But again, thoughts and prayers go out to Q.
For sure, man. Coming up on today's show, we got a lot to talk about. A fan who caught Salvador Perez's historic home run ball won't give it up. We'll definitely dive into that. And NFL is adding a Monday night game to the opening round of the playoffs. Playoffs? Yeah, we'll dive into that as well. And in about 12 minutes, we'll be joined by former Chiefs and Chargers Pro Bowl cornerback Brandon Flowers. He's going to join us to talk about tomorrow's matchup at Arrowhead Stadium between the Chiefs and the Chargers. And coming up in about 30 minutes, we'll have our sneakers of the week during our Hater Love It segment. Let's get to today's headlines.
And now, here are the biggest sports headlines from this week. We bring them to you every Saturday morning on the W with Walls and the crew on 100.1 FM and Facebook Live.
So the fan who caught Salvador Perez's historic home run game ball won't give it up. So Salvador Perez, of course, made history in Cleveland on Monday afternoon, becoming the first catcher to hit 46 home runs in a season. So Perez broke the record by Johnny Bench in 1970. Perez hit the two-run home run in the fifth inning of a 7-2 win, setting a new record of the highest total by a player who spent at least 75% of his team's games at catcher. Perez also moved into a tie for the Major League home runs with Toronto's Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Perez leads the majors with 115 RBIs also. So in a post-game interview, Perez said that the fan who ended up with the ball declined to hand it over to Cleveland staff. Of course, the home run was hit in Cleveland, and he's an Indians fan. But the Royals said it won't benefit for the fan to keep the ball because they have to. So anytime a home run ball or any memorabilia, they have to put a sticker on it. And a sticker means it's authenticated and it becomes a part of memorabilia. And if it's not authenticated, then it's null and void, so to speak. And the fan was saying, oh, well, it doesn't matter. I've taken video of it. I show a video of you guys here asking me, questioning me and things like that. So it's like
he got an NFT.
So it's like, man, your thoughts on that, Noah? Because I know myself, I would have. Salvador Perez offered signed bats. He offered, signed gloves, all that stuff, all kind of other memorabilia. He just wanted the ball. But the fan also said that, hey, I know how much Salvy's worth. I know how much his contract is. Your thoughts on that, man?
It looks like we're at a standstill because the fan knows how much the ball is, worth, and Salvi he also knows he wants that ball. It has value to him, even if it just has value to him. It has sentimental value.
Mm-hmm.
So the fact that the fan knows that, he's just taking advantage of what he knows. So eventually, Salvi will probably pay for him to give the ball up. But it's just funny. That's just hilarious.
Yeah. How much would a ball like that be worth to you? I would say if it were me, I would have said, all right. Like if it were me and I was out there in the outfield right now, caught the ball, I would have said, hey, we want Salvador Perez every Saturday at 11:05 for the remainder of next season. Like for all of next season, we want Salvador Perez. I don't care if he's playing. We want him to call into the show and just give our thoughts on baseball, give his thoughts on baseball and whatever topic we want to talk about. That would have been me. But money, I mean, sometimes people want money. Like
some people are business savvy, like yourself, and would find a way to, hey, I'm gonna angle this towards I can get in it something out of this for a while.
Mm-hmm.
But some people, they just want that quick, like, hey, give me my 5Gs or give me my 10K for this ball.
Or 10K, easy.
Yeah, exactly. So some people just would do that. So I don't know. I don't have a number. I would have to. I'm not an unreasonable guy, though. I honestly, if I caught that ball, I would just be like, hey, man, like, just, I don't know what I would think of, but it wouldn't be unreasonable. I have a feeling this guy, he's really, really looking out for himself, and that can be unreasonable sometimes.
Yeah.
So, or sound unreasonable to the average person.
It's hard out here.
It is.
So that, how that song go. It's hard out here.
It is. Nah, I understand him. I ain't even gonna be mad at him. I get it.
Yeah. The thing about it too is that he's not a Royals fan.
Exactly.
He lives in Cleveland. He's obviously an Indians fan, and I mean, it's worth it. I'm not saying that it's worthless to him, but he doesn't know the significance of it. That it means, it's very valuable to someone who would live in Kansas City. Also, Salvador Perez. So
exactly.
I don't know. We'll see. It's an ongoing topic. Of course, Salvi has not received the ball yet, so we'll see if he ever gets it.
Yeah, it'll play out. He'll get the ball. Don't worry about it.
You think so?
That'll happen. There's that fan knows if he keeps it forever with no authenticated sticker, like it really will only be worth what somebody else, which is whatever
somebody from Kansas City will pay for it.
Exactly, and he'll, like he says, he has videos and all sorts of things. He'll be able to authenticate that, but he'll eventually, Salvador he'll pay for the ball eventually. That's what I see.
Yeah. $10,000. That's not too much to ask. Just throw me a little $10,000.
Throw me a little $10,000.
All right. Yeah. So the Kansas City Chiefs lost to the Baltimore Ravens last Sunday night football at M&T Bank Stadium in Baltimore. The Chiefs lost to the Ravens 34-35. Some numbers to note: Chiefs quarterback Patrick Mahomes, 24 of 31 for 343 yards and 3 touchdowns with 1 interception. The Ravens QB Lamar Jackson, 18 of 26 for 239 yards, 1 touchdown, and 2 interceptions. Let's hear what head coach Andy Reid had to say about Sunday night's performance.
All right, so listen, a little bit of what I said last night. When two good teams play each other, you can't, these mistakes just get amplified and magnified and everything else. So it's we're sitting here with 2 turnovers at a crucial time of the game. We're sitting here with the missed tackles, more so in the first half than the second half, but enough there. And, shedding blocks, fundamental things that that we're better than that, but we've got to do it. And so we'll go back to the drawing board here on Wednesday and work on these things. These are things we can control. We've just got to get in the right mindset to do so. I mentioned this last night. That's my responsibility as the head football coach. I've got to make sure that our team is playing better than what it is right now, and we'll get there. We've got the right chemistry in the locker room. We've got good players, and we got to make sure that we step up a game. We've got a good Charger team coming in here that is explosive, really on both sides of the ball. So we got to make sure that we take care of business.
No, your thoughts on what Andy Reid had to say?
He's one of the greatest coaches of all time in NFL history. So he said exactly what I would expect him to say in that situation. There was nothing. I mean, when it comes to that game, and you see this in sports all the time, you see the team that's seen as the underdog or the big matchup early in the season.
Mm-hmm.
You'll see that the team that's the underdog, they have to play the perfect game in order to beat the overwhelming favorite. And I think what's significant about that game was the fact that the Ravens, they did not play a perfect game. They made a whole lot of mistakes. They turned the ball over a couple times. They made mistakes on defense. So it's actually kind of weird because usually it's like I said, the underdog, they play the perfect game, and then the overwhelming favorite, they make some crucial mistake. And
yeah, and the thing about it too is when you think about what the Chiefs are going through going into Sunday night's game, it was looked at as an easy win, so to speak. It was looked at as, okay, well, the Baltimore Ravens have so many guys on injured reserve. They have so many guys that are questionable. It should be a cakewalk, and I get it. Any given Sunday, anything can happen, right? But this was more surprising to the Chiefs and Chiefs fans. You first game out of the season, you go and play the Browns. No Tyrann Mathieu, no Frank Clark. You guys, defense didn't look great, but they got the job done.
Exactly.
And a week later, it seemed like even with now you have Tyrann Mathieu back, you have Frank Clark back, and the defense looked like 2017, 2018 defense. They weren't getting the job done. There were many communication issues. Tyrann Mathieu talked about that after the game. There were red zone issues, which is stemming back from last season. And I understand the fact that you guys, Chiefs fans, they want to see every game. They want to see every game as a win. They mark a W in the win column. However, it's not time to sail the form. It really is. It's not time to sail the form. The reason I say that is because when you've got the guys that are returning from last year, minus Bashar Breeland, minus a couple of other people, linebacker, and a couple other defensive linemen, you still got the core guys. They know what it takes to win. They know
exactly.
And the thing about it as well is that when you look at Steve Spagnuolo's defenses over the past decade, they've always started out slow and then gotten better.
That's exactly what I was going to get into. Is that the time to panic is not right now. There is no time to panic when you have the veteran team that you have. I could wager, like, this is how much faith I have in the Chiefs. The Chiefs could go 11-6 this year, which would be blasphemous, right? That would be, that's a failed season. And I would still say, barring any injury, they would be the favorites to go to and win the Super Bowl. Like, they're just a veteran team. They have veterans at every position that you need to have veterans at, aside from probably linebacker. I would say they don't have the veterans at linebacker, but every other position, they have veterans that have been there before. And not only have they been there before, but they've been there and performed at high levels. So yes. Like, this is just this loss. Like I said, it took two crucial, mistakes down on, mistakes that haven't happened before down the stretch in order for, the Ravens to come out with this win. And the Ravens, I mean, in the second half, they were lights out. If we're just being honest, I mean, Lamar was running the football like prime Barry Sanders. It was kind of crazy to watch, and there was a whole lot of missed tackles. There wasn't a lot of discipline as far as angles taken on Lamar.
Mm-hmm.
I would also say that there probably needs to be a spy somewhere on the field for Lamar. I'm sure there probably was, but maybe that person wasn't disciplined as well, because there was a whole lot of running room for him. And I just think this was a loss that you shouldn't really even worry about if you're an actual Chiefs fan. If you know football and you know sports, this will be a non-issue come January, February. So
yeah, you mentioned Lamar Jackson. This is one of those games. It's when teams play the Kansas City Chiefs, it's a Super Bowl.
It is.
Every week you're gonna get everyone's best, and this is the game that Lamar Jackson, he did not. You could just tell he did not want to lose this game. He was going to keep the ball, come hell or high water, and he was going to go down with the ship.
Exactly.
Fourth and what they have, 4th and 1 on their own half of the field, and under a minute left, and you're gonna go for it.
You go for that every time.
Not every team is gonna go for that. Not every team, because you have the lead. You punt the ball down the field. Under a minute left, you even if there's under a minute and 30, you punt the ball down the field, because 9 times out of 10 you're going to get stuffed right there at the line of scrimmage. And then the Chiefs they can either, I believe they still had 2 or 3 timeouts. They're able to run the ball, or they're able to kick a field goal in that instance. So that being
the good teams, I'm sorry, I meant to say the teams that are worth their medal. The good teams are going to go. They know they're not giving Patrick Mahomes a chance to march down the field. That's kind of what I meant by that. Sorry.
Yeah, I just don't see another team going for it. I mean,
Aaron Rodgers, maybe.
I don't know. I don't think there's another team that's going to go for it in that instance. That's a ballsy call. It really is.
I agree with you there.
At the line of scrimmage, that's the ball game. It really is. But we're gonna move on, and here's some news coming out of the NFL. Man, they're adding a Monday night game to the opening round of the playoffs. Playoffs. So the NFL's opening round of playoffs will now feature a Monday night football game. The league announced on Friday. So they added a primetime game will conclude the expanded round of the playoffs that the NFL calls Super Wildcard Weekend. 2 games will be placed on Saturday at 4:35 p.m. and 8:15 p.m. 3 on Sunday, that's at 1:05, 4:40, and 8:15, and 1 on Monday at 8:15 p.m. So the NFL's last season expanded the playoffs from 12 teams to 14 teams, adding 2 additional wildcard teams. So the top team in each conference receives a bye, and the remaining division champions are seeded 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, hosting the next 3 teams of each conference. So, no, what are your thoughts on this? I know I'm going to get into probably a rant about this thing, but you go ahead.
I mean, we're going to have the same rant, I feel like, because we're getting to the point where the NFL do it. They're just worried about just the bottom line, and this is exactly what this is. It's a money move. This is a money grab. They know how much revenue that Monday night, those Monday night games bring in. People watch them. I mean, people look forward to them. They're almost in the fabric of American culture. Like Monday night football is a huge deal. And so now they're just transitioning it to the playoffs. But now the playoffs is winning time. That's when, this is single elimination. We can't have any one small mistake can end your season. And
right.
So I would say those mistakes will be amplified just because that's a short week next week. Like whoever wins, that's a short week for you. Like you go in and you don't have all those times for practice. You don't get all those reps during that week because you have a day taken off. because you have to have your off day the next day after the game.
Oh, of course.
And then now you have, instead of 3 days of practice, you get 2. You know, you got to walk through.
Depending if you have to travel or not, too.
Exactly. There's a whole lot of factors there that that just kind of takes away from, you know, your chances at, you know, winning. So it's just a money grab, in my opinion. That's what I see it as. And you know, if I guess it would have to be agreed upon with the Players Association and everything, wasn't it?
Of course. Yeah, everything has to be going through.
Exactly. So I'm just kind of like, they agreed to it. So I don't know if my rant really means anything, but I want to hear. What do you think?
Here's the thing. It gives an extra game, but at the same time, 1 day less of rest. And a lot of people say, well, it's just 1 day. You know, it's just an extra day. You've got the on the front end, you got the extra day of rest, so it just takes away 1 on the back end. Well, the team that's been sitting that you'll have to go play, they're going to be all rested up, and you're going to have that 1 less day, no matter if you have 1 extra, you know, on the front end of it, because you're not playing on that Saturday or that Sunday. You're going to
exactly
on Monday. So my thing is, I'm like, I don't feel like they should move it. The playoffs have been fine thus far. You've gotten a lot of competition. I mean, of course, there have been some lopsided, but more often than not, you've had some great games, some great competition. Now, I know that you're trying to make up for last season. I get it, but this just isn't the way to go. And I love to hear from, you know, some current players on this added game to the NFL playoffs, especially a Monday night game. Like, your body is accustomed to Sundays. You're accustomed. That's just what it is. And then the veterans that have been in the league, they understand that Saturday, that Sunday. And of course, the Chiefs past couple years, they haven't had to worry about that, but that's neither here nor there. And I'm hoping, and I know Chiefs fans are hoping as well. It's like, this means that the Chiefs need to win out. They just need to win their division.
Exactly.
And they won't have to worry about any of that. Let all the chips fall where they may with the other scragglers down there, and we don't have to worry about that Monday night game. But it's neither here nor there. We're going to take a quick break. Coming up, we will discuss a little NBA basketball. Is Ben Simmons' time in Philly done? It's being reported that he said he's not going to show up to camp. So we'll talk about that when we come back. We'll be right back. This is a W Show.
You're tuned in to the W with Walls and the Crew, where winning isn't everything. It's the only thing. On 100.1 FM and Facebook Live.
This crowd is ready and waiting. Number 1 against number 2.
Walk into a gym and hear a ball bouncing, and you smell popcorn, and you hear a band. I don't think it gets any better than that.
The Peeler era that ended in 88 through the Jerron Rush era that ended in 98.
They loved it. I mean, it comes Friday night. You better get there early. We like to call this place the Pit.
Oh, Friday night. Literally, you felt like you were fighting for your life.
You need security to get off the bus.
This is going to be nasty.
You know, heard the stories about Coach Latham. I hear these guys talk. I'm like, man, this man must be crazy.
1,000 people running out on the floor, just engulfed the whole floor. And
they didn't award us the trophy. And it was a joke.
There isn't a seat to be had in here tonight.
I think it holds 10,500. And I bet I've had 20,000 people tell me we're at that game.
This is going to be a happening. This was more than a basketball game.
We're not worthy over here.
And I said, who is this kid? And they said, Coach, that's the next phenom of Kansas City basketball. That's Jerron Rush.
By the time I was 11, like, who were the best players in the country?
In the evolution of Metro sports, yeah, Jerron and Kareem Rush were huge.
Man, we were at each other's throat.
Who do they think they are? I mean, they ain't the only ones that can play ball in the city.
I said, all right, watch this.
The head of the pack.
He could just flat out score.
And so you couldn't talk trash to him. He would laugh.
He was a dog on both ends of the floor.
That's a long legacy, and it's a proud tradition.
It's right here in the city. Right here.
Hey, we Kansas City basketball. This is what we do in this part of town.
You're tuned in to the W with Walls and the Crew, where winning isn't everything. It's the only thing. on 100.1 FM and Facebook Live.
Remember to interact with our show. Use hashtag talk about it and send us a topic. Even if you're watching us now, you can comment a topic and we will most definitely talk about it. And we'll probably shout you out. We may just bring you in to talk on the show as well. But you got to use hashtag talk about it so that we can talk about whatever topic that you want. No, this Ben Simmons topic is not going away anytime soon. So Ben Simmons said he won't show up for camp and he won't play for the Sixers ever again, the report says. So Ben Simmons is determined never to play for the 76ers again, according to an ESPN report Tuesday that said he won't show up for the start of training camp next week. And sources also said that Simmons is disgruntled and intends to never play for the team again. Your thoughts on that?
This is a new one for me, just because usually when there's a dispute, it's over a contract, it's over money, which, I mean, that's understandable. This is literally over the fact that of how he was treated in an organization, how he was treated, but also it's also his fault that he was treated this way. Like it's such a layered issue. Because, I mean, let's be real here. This is all over the fact that Ben Simmons will not shoot the basketball. Whoever did what to make the problem worse or, amplify it, or who said what to disrespect who, doesn't matter. It just kind of comes down to, at this point, the Sixers want him to shoot the basketball, and he will not shoot the basketball.
Yeah, I get it. I totally do. We're going to come back to that in just a second. We're right now. We're going to talk a little Chiefs football. We're going to talk. We have former Chiefs and also LA Chargers, NFL Pro Bowl cornerback Brandon Flowers on the show. B Flow, what's happening, brother?
What's going on, fellas?
Hey, how's it going?
Nothing much, man. I want to dive right into it, man. Defensively, the Chiefs have struggled in the first two games of the season, and of course, the first game against the Browns without Tyrann Mathieu, and then the second game against the Ravens. It took me back to old Bob Sutton days. I know a guy that you're familiar with. When you played for the Chiefs. I want to know what are your thoughts on the Chiefs' defensive side of the ball?
They got to definitely be better if they want to hold up the trophy at the end of the year and win a ring. Pat Mahomes, when you got him on your opposite side of the ball, it's almost like having Brady. You always got a chance. But even when Tom Brady won his Super Bowls, he always had a defense that performed. Or when he needed key stops to get the ball back, they did that for him. So this defense is definitely a concern right now. But Spagnuolo, a great coach, man.
Right.
A few years ago, they started out the same way when he first came in, but I think they'll start to gel, hit their strides, and now that Honey Badger back, he's the leader on that defense. So he'll get them back where they need to be. They struggled against Baltimore, but everybody struggled against Baltimore with Lamar Jackson in that offense because it's just so it's not what you're used to. It's something different every time you see it. So I think they get back on track, even if it takes them week 7, week 8. But it's definitely something you should be concerned about if you don't see them start to get better and better throughout the season.
Now, looking at Justin Herbert, moving on to the Chargers, week 1, threw for 337, 1 touchdown. Week 2 against Dallas, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. From what you've seen so far, can he get this team where they need to be?
He got it. When you talk about Herbert just being a quarterback and is he capable of getting this team where they need to be and possibly contend with KC for winning the division, alone he can do that. He's that good as a quarterback, being how young he is, how smart he is, the decision making he make on the field. I know he threw a bad pick last week, but he's still a great decision maker. He can make all the throws on the field. But it's going to have to ultimately come down to the Chargers as a team. They always had players there, right? Like Keenan Allen and all those guys. They always had a good roster, but for some reason, they couldn't put it all together. Now that they got a new head coach out there in L.A., that's a guy that they can buy into. You know, if they can keep Derwin James healthy and, LaSante Samuels, if he continues to play better, he going to be a cornerstone for defense. Bosa can always get pass rush. It's just they got to put it together as a team. They always had the players, but for some reason their head coach can never get the best out of them for them to tally up wins in a win column. So we'll see what they do, man. I mean, like I said, they have a roster, but we'll see if they can put it together.
Now we're talking to former Chiefs and LA Chargers Pro Bowl cornerback Brandon Flowers right now on the W Show, 100.1 FM, Kansas City. Brandon, a lot of these teams have tried to mimic what Tampa Bay did to the Chiefs in the Super Bowl, right? They just want to take away, of course, Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, and make them beat you in the run game. And other teams, of course, are taking away. They're not even throwing the blitz at them. They're just playing cover two and saying, all right, we're going to make Clyde Edwards-Helaire beat us. What do you do to beat this team? Because if you're trying to take away Travis Kelce and also Tyreek Hill, will that work?
It can work, but Andy Reid is so smart, he's not going to allow that to work. Like this is one coach that I played for that he will not sleep at night until he figures it out. That's what separates him from being a Hall of Fame coach from other coaches. Guys like Andy Reid, Sean McVay, Sean Payton, those guys are going to make sure they find a way to get Tyreek Hill and Kelce open. And you'll see that start to happen towards week 7, week 8. But the thing that I think Kansas City hasn't, I won't say done a great job of, but it's different for Andy Reid. A guy like Clyde Edwards-Helaire, he's not a typical Andy Reid running back.
Right.
Andy Reid running backs like Westbrook, Shady McCoy, Jamal Charles, they can hit the home run at any point of the field. So it kind of stresses you to say, hey, what are we going to do? Because they running back can hit it for 80, just like Tyreek Hill can hit it in a passing game for 80. Right. So Clyde Edwards-Helaire, he's not that kind. He's more ground pound. He might give you 10, might break out for 15. So I think until Andy Reid get a back there that can break that home run like anywhere on the field, if they take Kelce and Tyreek Hill away, this offense not going to struggle, but it won't be as explosive as you've seen it before.
Agreed. Definitely agreed.
Yeah, and the thing I've seen from a guy like Clyde Edwards-Helaire, even when he was in college, he was able to get out of the backfield, catch balls, be in a passing game. And they have yet this season to show that they're able to get Clyde to be effective in the passing game. Not only do they have an offensive line that is new, but do you feel like the offensive line has anything to do with it? I mean, they have 5 guys that are brand new that have just, trying to gel together. We can't hear you, Brandon. Can you hear us?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
So they haven't played together for a while, and football is the only sport where people underestimate the continuity and just how much everybody got to be on the same page. In basketball, you can go iso ball, like go ahead, move out the way, the best player there, go get buckets. In football, everybody got to work together, and on the opposite line, they got to know when they passing guys off, when they doing this, doing that. So it's going to take time. The Chiefs fans are so used to it's so different from when I played, we was winning 3 and 4 games. But when Patrick Mahomes took over, you guys just are so used to winning. Now it's blowouts and everything looks just how it's supposed to look all the time. But when you got guys like Mahomes getting paid his top dollar, you got Tyreek Hill getting paid his top dollar, Kelce getting paid his top dollar, you can pay offensive line like those top dollars. So you're going to have holes through your team that you're going to
Yeah. Do you?
All right.
That hole that you got to fill in right now. So they're going to have to find some different ways schematically, just getting the ball out of Patrick Mahomes' hands quick, something to help this offensive line out.
I was gonna say screens are definitely something that need to be implemented at this point. Create ways to get Tyreek the ball in space. I know they've tried to do that in previous years, but I feel like now would be a good time to implement that. I also had a question, Brandon. In your experience, when you've played on great football teams, has it always been good to experience the kind of loss that the Kansas City Chiefs experienced last week early in the season?
I never was a fan of experiencing losses and feel like you'll be because of loss, because if you're winning and you're in the right it depends on what kind of locker room you got too, right? Because when you're winning and you're in the right locker room, all you know is win, and you find a way to win. Winning gets contagious. Even if you got ugly wins, you still win. So in your head as a player, you find a way to, on your field, it's like, we're going to win this game. We're going to find a way to win this game. Because if you lose too many, it's contagious to think, oh, man, here we go again. This is what happened last week, no matter what kind of locker room you're in. So I don't necessarily think losses can help. But like I said before, this is a good locker room, man. Andy Reid's locker rooms are always one of the best locker rooms. They have so many leaders. You see Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, even on the defensive side of the ball, Honey Badger. So the Chiefs is one team that I'm not worrying about. With the leaders they have, the coaches they have, it's just like they literally might only lose 2 or 3 games this year. If the fans is like, man, we losing 3 games still, that's not what we do, but they'll be just fine. They still going to be the team to beat. I think the gap is definitely closing, because before it's like nobody can come close.
Right.
Gap is like the gap is closing to where teams are with the Chiefs, but they still the team to beat.
So you mentioned 3 losses. Will one of those losses come on Sunday against the Chargers?
I don't think one of those losses will come on Sunday, just because I don't know if Kansas City can match up. I mean, I don't know if the Chargers secondary can match up with Kansas City on the outside. I don't think they're going to double too much. I think they're going to come out feeling like Derwin James can take care of Travis Kelce. They might double Tyreek here and there, but they trust their corners right now. And if Kansas City goes 17, we'll see if they adjust. But usually the Chargers will come out. This is a division game. They'll feel like, hey, we like our players just like you like y'all players. So that's the only reason why I think the Chargers will take an L this week.
Now, do you see that often though? Because we've seen a lot of teams. I know we talk about it on this show a lot all the time. It's like, all right, you have young quarterbacks like Derek Carr, you have Josh Allen, you have Lamar Jackson, and they want to kind of go toe to toe with Patrick Mahomes. Do you see that on the defensive side of the ball with cornerbacks that are like, hey, I don't need the help. I got Tyreek. I can guard him.
That's our biggest downfall as defensive backs. We don't feel like nobody can beat us. We don't care what quarterback we face. Like, listen, it's disrespectful if you tell me you double this dude right here. And I know the mentality that the Chargers are coming in with. I played for their general manager. I know what he likes in his players. So that's why I say, like, they not going to come in afraid of Kansas City. Last year on Herbert first start, the game went down to 1 possession.
Right.
So they feel like, listen, like, let's just play our ball. They feel like they're a better team than last year. They made some moves, but I think that's going to be their biggest mistake if they do. If they buy in and see what other teams do to be successful, to beat the Chiefs and double Kelce and double Tyreek Hill, then they definitely have a chance. But again, I don't see the Chiefs losing 2 games in a row. That's not going to happen. That's not them. The Chiefs are the new Patriots, like the old Patriots. You're not going to see the Patriots lose 2 games in a row. That's what Kansas City is right now. So that's why I don't see the Chargers getting a win this week.
Right.
Well, Brandon, we appreciate it, brother. I see you posted about a new podcast. Tell people where they can check it out.
Oh, man, Cover 24 podcast coming on all platforms. I did 1 or 2 teasers. I'm getting back into it next week, full-fledged, but it's mainly a podcast for college athletes. It's almost like a college podcast, because I go and speak and talk to different universities all year round about the ups, the downs, the challenges you'll face as a student athlete. And I always give out my personal line, so I get like 200 texts every day, like calls all the time on how to handle different situations as a student athlete, And I just figured, why not just put all this out on one platform, then answer questions. I let them send questions in. I answer the questions. So that's what the podcast is mainly about. Just letting colleges reach out to me with any questions they got about life, about coaches, even like drug testing in college. But what do you have questions about? I'm going to keep it real, and I'm going to answer the questions. All the questions are going to come in as anonymous. It's just things that they can't talk to their coaches about. I'm going to be that outlet for them. So I feel like I wish I had that when I was in college, and that could have kept a lot of my guys academically eligible or not doing certain things to get them kicked off the team. So I just want to give that back. I'm a give back type of guy. So that's my give back to, colleges around the world.
And quick suggestion. I'm not sure if you already do it, but and I know we talked back in during the Super Bowl about just your business, some things that you do on the business side of things. But if you could kind of just tell some of those athletes like, hey, even if you don't make it in sports, you're still able to be around the sport within the business side of athletics as well.
I definitely will do, man. I appreciate that. I love you guys' show. Love you guys, what you do. I appreciate just chatting up with you, man, because every time I sit down with guys that, just have knowledge of not just football, the knowledge of life, and I always take that in like a sponge. So I appreciate y'all. Thanks for having me on the show also.
Hey, appreciate you, man.
No problem, man. No problem.
Hopefully we can get you back on sometime later on during the season.
Just let me know anytime. I'd love to come back on.
All right, appreciate it. All right, that was Brandon Flowers, former Kansas City Chiefs cornerback, and also he played for the Los Angeles Chargers. We're going to take a quick break. Coming up, we're going to dive back into our headlines. We'll be right back. This is the W Show.
You're tuned in to the W with Walls and the Crew, where winning isn't everything. It's the only thing. On 100.1 FM and Facebook Live.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? Is this not why you are here?
Dre, when he was younger, he loved to smile. And we knew he would need braces because his teeth were coming in funny. That's when he had the bunny rabbits. We called them the bunny rabbits.
Now, those are the same two front teeth there that they are now.
Then Dre ended up having to wear braces for 5 years because he never made it to appointments because he was busy playing basketball. If he missed practice, he don't get to play in the game.
This is the picture that was on the front page of the newspaper. All you can notice is the braces.
Then once he got to Michigan State, he broke the retainer.
My bottom teeth, they were really crooked, and I just wasn't getting braces again. Small Direct Club fits into my lifestyle so well. The liner is so great. It's easy to just grab it and go, and then I can change on the road. I did photo shoots with my liners in, and you can't see them.
I wish Smile Direct Club would have been around when I was paying for them. I wouldn't have had to take them out of school. I wouldn't have had to miss work.
It's like a great feeling to have good teeth. A smile is a first impression. That's why I think having a great smile is so important.
From the moments that shape our lives.
You're tuned in to the W with Walls and the Crew, where winning isn't everything. It's the only thing. On 100.1 FM and Facebook Live.
Remember, you can hashtag talk about it, and we will talk about any topic you want. You can also hit us on our text line, 816-200-7592, or at the W Show KC on all social media platforms. No, diving back into our headlines quickly. We were talking Ben Simmons and the 76ers. My take on it is you've already expressed that you want to trade him. So
exactly.
I'm not mad at Ben Simmons for coming out and just saying, hey, I'm not showing up. You guys didn't want me. Now let me go. Let me be.
Exactly.
I know there's been some rumblings about, a Kyrie Irving, Ben Simmons straight up trade. And I've also heard that, KD isn't having that. I wouldn't do the deal. But there are some teams that could use Ben Simmons. There are some teams that would appreciate his value. And of course, he has some shooting struggles and maybe some confidence in that area. But that's the reason why you have coaches, you have trainers, you have all those people that you're paying hundreds of thousands of dollars to each and every season to get guys better. So I'm not mad at it. I feel like Ben is he's going to find the right home. And shoot, I would love to see him go to Portland. Ben
deserves at this point, Ben deserves to have his out, and he deserves a fresh start because like I said, Ben may have stemmed from Ben's issues as a player, but Philly did not make it any easier on him. Even going last year into the playoffs, like you had your own head coach say it was your fault that we lost, and said it straight up in a matter of fact manner, which
can't have that.
For some players that might work, but you've had Ben Simmons at this point. You've had him in your organization for 6 years. I think you know who Ben Simmons is as a person. You just can't do that. You just can't do that. There's better ways to go about that. So I think he deserves his fresh start. He deserves it.
I do as well. All right. Free agent Richard Sherman says, I've got a resume that should be more than a momentary lapse. So Sherman says he's ready to play physically and mentally, and that he wants to get another chance in the NFL. Richard Sherman, of course, was charged with 5 misdemeanors, including DUI and trespassing with a domestic violence element after a July incident involving his wife's family. But he told the USA Today that he's gotten help and is confident that he can play. Will he be able to get on another team? From what we've seen before, a lot of times when this hits headlines, you're not able to get back on a team.
I mean, it's tough because somebody tweeted this out the other day, and I kind of thought about it. You actually really might have to actually physically take someone's life in order for you to not get back in the NFL. Because we've seen, we can talk about all of them, from Ben Roethlisberger to Ray Rice to the punter from the Giants. I forgot what his name was. All of these issues that they had issue with, people physically, like this Richard Sherman thing. I mean, it was an altercation, and it did look very bad. Even if looking at the video, if you've never seen it, it looks bad. And especially if you're familiar with Richard Sherman, you feel like he's like not that guy, actually.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, he's right. This was a momentary lapse. It happens. Physically, I don't think, nobody was actually hurt. Nobody was I think just right now, like you said, it's misdemeanors that he has. They're not felonies. I think if he's healthy enough to play and he's effective, I think he should be able to make an NFL roster, given that he said he's received help. And I'm sure, no punishment from the NFL will he's anticipating that no punishment will come down from the NFL. If he does get signed. So I think he should be able to get a chance to be signed back. Now, is he effective? That's a different thing.
Here's the thing real quick. I just don't think at 33 years old, his last showing was the Super Bowl, before he went down with an injury the following year. His last showing was trying to guard Tyreek Hill. Right now, teams want to get younger and faster. They don't want a 33-year-old defensive back. Of course,
that doesn't play, man.
That doesn't play. Of course, he's won a Super Bowl. That means a lot. However, I think if Cam Newton is not on the team, let me ask you this first before we move on. Will Richard Sherman or Cam Newton be on the squad first?
The quarterback position is kind of a weird one, just because things happen. Like everybody gets injured, of course. So that if enough injuries happen, Cam Newton will be on a squad. I feel like if enough injuries happen for the cornerbacks, it's more of we got practice squad players, we got people we can move to corner, we got safeties that they can possibly place a nickel back in a pinch.
He's got to have friends in high places, put it that way.
Exactly. It would be kind of tough for him to just get in based off his merit and how he played the last time we saw him. With Cam, it's just like there's a premium on quarterbacks. I mean, even if Cam, he didn't really show much, he hasn't really, and he's gotten the short end of the stick the past couple years with catching COVID and various injuries and not having a full training camp and in a Belichick system, which is not easy to learn at all. There's all sorts of factors that go in there. But yeah, I would definitely say Cam would probably be on a roster before Richard Sherman.
All right, it's time for our favorite segment of the week. Let's get to Head of the Left.
I love it. It's that time for Love It or Hate It.
Hate it.
If we love it, we talk about it. If we hate it, we move on.
All right, first up, our sneakers of the week. We have Air Jordan 5 Oreo Moonlight. No, you feeling these?
I'm not. I'm gonna be honest with you. I've seen people like make a big hoopla about them. I'm not seeing it.
Yeah. What about the Air Jordan 1 Retro High OG Pro Prototype?
I mean, these are actually decent. I'm not mad at these. I'm probably not gonna cop them, but I'm not mad at these. These are decent.
All right. What about the Yeezy Boost 700 V2 Mauves?
Me and Yeezy, we have a good relationship, but I think I'll pass.
Yeah, I don't like these either. To get that gets Dusty Gray vibes from me, like you've been out playing in rocks.
Yeah.
All right, the women's Nike Waffle 1 Crater. I wish Jazz was on today, man. I think she'd love these.
I was gonna say, I think I can see Jazz in these. I'm not gonna lie to you. I think I can see her rocking these. Now, whether she would or not is a whole other thing, but I can see her pulling these off.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so unvaccinated Andrew Wiggins reportedly restricted to individual workouts. Hate it or love it?
Love it, man. You have to do it, man, because as it stands now, he's going to miss 41 games for the Warriors, and he's going to miss out on $14 million if he does not get vaccinated. So, and he applied for a religious exemption to, not get vaccinated. Sorry, dude. You have to get vaccinated.
Exactly. All right. Amazon is 90% likely to hire Al Michaels for Thursday Night Football. Hate it or love it?
He's legendary, man. He's almost like the voice of like football for me as a kid growing up. It's just if Al Michaels was calling the game, like you knew it was just you were in for something. So
all right, Oscar De La Hoya calls out Floyd Mayweather. This one's kind of interesting. He says he'll offer him $100 million for a fight. Former 6th Division boxing champion Oscar De La Hoya has challenged Floyd Mayweather Jr. to a fight this year, a potential 9-figure payday. Let's hear from Oscar De La Hoya.
How's your health, though? How you feeling?
Good, brother. Hey, come on, brother. How's my health?
You look great.
Come on, brother.
How bad was it at the worst? Like, did you ever think you might not make it?
5 days of hell.
Yeah.
Okay, 5 days of hell. And guess what? You know who I'm gonna call out for my next fight?
Who?
Floyd Mayweather.
Floyd Mayweather?
Yes.
That's huge. You're still in shape.
I'll offer Floyd Mayweather $100 million.
Oh my God. Are you still planning to fight before the end of the year? Do you think you can get that together?
Yes. $100 million.
Okay.
Let's do it.
Do you want Trump?
Interesting. Come on, man. First of all, were you sober?
No.
Second of all, what are you thinking?
Nobody's picking up that fight for $100 million. You don't have $100 million to just give.
I think he does.
Up.
I think he has it. I think he has it. He's over $100 million, but does he have it to lose? That's another question.
Nobody has it to lose. I mean, unless we're talking about Jeff Bezos. He's not Jeff Bezos. Nobody's picking up that fight. Floyd is not picking up that fight anyways.
All right, so JJ Redick announced his retirement earlier this week. Hate it or love it?
Love it, man. Love JJ. Love his podcast as well. You should really check it out. The Old Man and the Three. It's really good basketball content on there.
Yeah, I knew it was time when he was, of course, traded from New Orleans to New York, and then from New York to Dallas. I just knew, because when he said that my kids are in school, so they won't be going up to New York with me, it was kind of like, yeah, it's time. Once you start team jumping and you're getting traded away, yeah, it's most definitely time.
Of course.
All right, so Alabama's Nick Saban, he gets kind of upset with the media. He says, "Do any of you play sports?" In a classic, this is just classic. Let's take a listen.
Yeah.
What has Jaleel Billingsley proven to you to see his role increased as the season's moved on?
Well, he's doing what he's supposed to do. He practices better. He's more engaged. He's more focused on what he's supposed to do, and he's having more positive performance on the field, which is what any player is supposed to do. I think that did any of you play sports? I mean, the coach is supposed to play the best players, right? And then it's up to the players to do what they're supposed to do so they get to play because they become one of the best players. So that's what he's doing now. But I don't know, maybe if you didn't play, maybe that's not something that you quite get.
Stupid questions to get stupid answers.
I've saved that. I've saved that as a drop. So anytime any of that comes about, did any of you play sports?
Yeah, like, come on, man.
We play to win the game.
Exactly.
Hello?
I hope it blows up because that's just silly. Like, come on. What are you asking?
Of course, man. So Portland State coach offered to buy everyone's beer at last Saturday's home opener. Had it, love it, spending $14,000.
Try and get everybody to the games. Is they having problems with attendance? Is that what's going on? Or
well, he said that he was willing to buy beer to get everyone at attendance at the FCS team's opener on last Saturday. So Portland State opened up to Western Oregon. So yeah.
I mean, that's cool of him, I guess.
He dropped on beer for his closest friends.
I mean, that's actually cool, but I mean, I guess they just need more attendance. So there you go. Smart.
All right, so rapper Megan Thee Stallion is Nike's new fitness trainer. So Nike has recruited Megan Thee Stallion for a new campaign and fitness initiative centered on the hot girl's mission for performance and dance. Let's take a look.
Like I told you before, real hotties put other hotties on.
Oh, hey. What's up, hotties? It's your girl, Megan Thee Stallion, a.k.a. the Hot Girl Coach. And I know I make this all look so easy, but this didn't happen overnight.
Before I became the Stallion, I was a young girl in Houston just trying to find her way. Growing up, I remember people saying,
"Girl, you tall. You need to be playing basketball."
"Nah, you should be playing volleyball."
"With those legs, you need to run track."
And I tried them all, but they just weren't for me. I knew I had to find my passion and do what made me happy.
But I wouldn't call you an athlete.
Oh, really?
Wait.
Oh. Let's see you run through 12-hour dance rehearsals, train 5 days a week, then perform in front of 50,000 people, squatting 50% of the time.
No. People like to tell us what we can and what we can't do, but we ain't hearing that. Real hot girls know no one can define us but us. So, hotties, you ready?
Is Megan an athlete? You would say yes?
If she's involved in dance, have you seen how her knees, like they're crazy. Like she's an athlete. I wish I had her knees. If I had her knees right now, I would probably be overseas or in the NBA somewhere. She has crazy balance. You can tell how strong her legs are. She definitely.
Well, we're gonna make that a poll on Facebook, and once we make it a poll later on today, we're gonna run this back next week and see what people think. Is Megan Thee Stallion an athlete or not? All right, there's Jay-Z and Jeff Bezos. They're linked to potential ownership of the Broncos. Hate it or love it.
I mean, this story comes out all the time, and it still hasn't happened. I don't think Jay-Z even is pressed about owning an NFL team at this point because it hasn't happened. If he wanted it to happen, I feel like it would have by now. So
yeah, so the team is currently not for sale, but there's ownership differences combined with the purchase price. It's going to lead to a sale. So the NFL expects the Denver Broncos to hit the market in 2022 after what the team says will be an orderly determination of ownership. Front Office Sports reports that there's been some lawsuits and things that are the family differences with the 7 daughters and the dad passed away. So it's going to be up for sale. We'll see.
Like I told you before.
We would definitely see if the Broncos sell. I'd love to see Jay-Z own a team.
I would too. Oh, yeah, I would love to see it. I just don't think he cares enough.
I think he does, though. All right, another great show, Noah. As always, we appreciate everyone for tuning in. Remember, you can catch a rewind of the W Show on Mondays, 100.1 FM, Kansas City Radio, anytime on social media. We also have a podcast up of our show. You can catch it on any of our podcast platforms. And also, next week or tomorrow, if you're going to be out at Arrowhead Stadium, use hashtag #HowDoYouSauce. The sauce crew will be out searching for tailgaters using Gate sauces and our seasonings. And we find you, we'll give you a gift card. On tomorrow, you will be able to catch myself and Darren Smith pregame cheat sheet. That's ahead of the Chiefs versus Chargers game. That's going to happen at 11:15. And on Monday night, we have the Red Hour. Catch us on @TheRedHourKC to hear our thoughts on all Chiefs news. Until next week, we are out of here.
And opinions expressed on the W Radio Show by the host, co-host, guests, and call-in listeners are solely the opinions and responsibility of the original source who expressed them. They do not represent the opinions of the W Show, 100.1 FM, One Kansas City Radio, Sideline Sports Talk, Team Wall Street Foundation, or affiliates.